Welcome to the Magnetic Man podcast with your host here, Daniel White, where we're all about helping men become men they can be proud of, who attract women that they're proud to be with. And we have a very, very special guest today in none other than Mr. Glenn Ackerman. He runs a program and has developed a system called Energy Awareness Training. He's also worked with some of the top dating coaches and companies throughout the world, mentoring some of their CEOs and leaders. So he's very well knowledged in this space. But more than that, he has a different take on things. And that's why I'm so excited to speak to Glenn today, because he doesn't see things on the surface level like many people do. And I'm really excited to dive into it with him. What are those implications in male female dynamics where those subtle energetics are at play? So, Mr. Glenn, fantastic to have you with us. And thanks for jumping on the Magnetic Man.
Daniel, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our time together today.
Yeah, fantastic. So I obviously gave you a bit of an intro. Is there anything I missed? Anything you want to tell about to the people who will be listening to our podcast today? Just about a little bit about you, what you do.
Sure.
I'd love for you to get into that.
Well, that's a very important part of my story because just a little bit of background. I grew up in a very traumatic household where I had loving parents, but they were fighting all the time, and it was like World War III. And one parent in particular drove me nuts and invited me to leave the house when I was 17 and make my own way, involuntarily, so to speak. And I was glad. So I left home at 17, just about a couple of weeks after graduating from high school. I graduated early. And I said, okay, I'm going to go make my way, and I'm going to get out of that crazy environment and become rich and get everything I want and live the life of a successful young man. So as I went about to do that, I still had issues inside me that I knew were keeping me down. I had a lot of anxiety inside of me, although you'd never know it by talking to me. I looked like, a real confident guy walking around, but inside there was tremendous anxiety, tremendous fear, and tremendous intimidation around beautiful women. And I noticed this, and I said, well, I got to do something about this. So I went the conventional route of seeing counselors and shrinks and stuff. And after a while, that didn't help. The shrinks just want to give you drugs or anti-anxiety meds, and the counselors just want to talk you to death. What about this and what about that? And then I wasn't getting anywhere. And meanwhile, I was going through my life and having a good life, but not the life that I knew I was capable of. And so I discovered the personal development field, and I threw myself into that, as many of you as listeners have. And I read every book I could get my hands on, and I took every seminar that I could do. And I fortunately I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is the epicenter of personal development at the time.
Sure.
I mean, if there was a personal development seminar, it was given there. So I was really animated in this world, and I really took to it. And I took course after course and seminar after seminar. Many of the ones that we all started out, Tony Robbins seminar here or a personal development thing here. And over the years, I got really good at the personal development world and being able to hide and mask my anxiety, stress, and fears and self-doubts. And I was able to fool the world to thinking that, I'm Joe confident, but inside, I still wasn't able to live the life that I knew I was capable of. Get the girls that I always dreamed of, and the lifestyle. I was always below the surface, and to the average person, it was great, but not to me, because I had very high standards and high expectations. So just to cut to the story, over the years in the personal development field, I had taken so many that some of them I became a teacher in, and some of them I became a trainer in, and I was able to think about things differently, think about my anxiety or my stress or my fear of having the top girl that I wanted, but I wasn't able to achieve it. I was able to think about it and deal with it, but I wasn't able to move towards that. Now, I was fortunate in my life where I was able to have the best teachers in personal development and in the human potential movement. So some of them you have heard of, some of you haven't heard of, but so in the personal development, I did the seminars like the Tony Robbins type things, and then but I also did, spiritual seminars, spiritual shamanic, working with holy men, working with energy masters, and one of the guys I worked with was the guy who started NLP. His name is Richard Bandler, and I worked for him for a number of years and studied with him. And he had a great interest in dating women, and he had a fantastic technique, which that's that's enough for another show on how that worked. But he was really good at that, and he showed me a lot of techniques and stuff. But I didn't like the direction that it was heading in after a while, so we split company. And then I studied under an energy master who taught me how to heal with my hands and taught me about the various levels of energies. And so it's been an incredible adventure. And to speed it up, I still came after studying with those guys. I still was had improved dramatically, but still was not at the level I knew I was capable of, what I call your full potential self.
Mhm.
And about 17 years ago, uh, after I built a huge business because I was in business too, and had this huge business that I was semi-retired from, traveling all over the world and living a playboy life, I guess you could say. During the recession of 2008, it went away, it collapsed. And all of a sudden, the image that I had of myself, of successful guy, powerful guy, speaker, trainer, stuff, that all went out the window. And I had about 6 months of savings left, and then that all went away. So around 2009, 2010, I'm starting again. And I'm in a place that I hadn't been before, which was, whoa, I'm I'm in this wilderness where all of the things that I based my identity on, friends, social networks, girlfriends, business, connections, especially here in Hollywood, they were all gone. So I went through a specific process of rebuilding myself and went through and discovered a community called the recovery community of people who are recovering from various things, whether it's from alcohol or uh, sexual relationships, divorce. Uh, and the one that I went into was one where people were recovering from being rich and not being rich anymore. And there
Wow.
was a
I
room.
didn't know such a thing existed, but it
It did.
sounds it can
It
be
did.
probably a difficult place to find yourself in.
Well, what's interesting was since I'm next to Beverly Hills, during that time, which so many people lost their businesses and uh, people who are millionaires one day and average people the next. There was a room, and it's called Debtors Anonymous, and the room was packed with former millionaires and former real estate guys, and everybody had taken a beating. So I participated in that community, and because I had healing skills, I was of service to that community and help people recover energetically as well. And something happened to me during that time where, as I began to help people and be of service and, not get paid, just do it out of the kindness of my heart, something fell into alignment with me. And everything that I had ever studied from all the different genres, none of them had 100% of the truth, but they all had a little bit. a little bit here,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit there, a little bit there. So all of a sudden, it came into alignment inside me, and I had something opened up in my consciousness where I was able to read and see invisible energies. And
Wow.
I began to see the world in a different way, and almost like seeing a hidden domain of
Mm.
how everything worked. And it was during that time that all of a sudden things started accelerating for me again. I started coaching people, and people were seeking me out, and I started working with some Hollywood celebrities here and some well-known influencers. And all of a sudden, energy awareness training came into being, and I was able to re-enter the personal development field from a much higher place, from a place that had never been revealed before. So if you look at most of you who've been in personal development for a while, you pretty much see that it's pretty much a rehash of the same thing. You know, think positive, um,
Goals and
set goals,
visualize and stuff like that.
visualize what's going to
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
and then it's all gonna take place. And or especially if you're in the dating community, which I was in, I actually taught two of the most successful and most powerful dating coaches in the industry, and so I
What
know
was
that.
that experience like for you? Like when you first met them and their mindsets, could you see where they had blockages? Because
Oh
to me,
yeah,
it's almost a unique niche. The dating space is different from, say, money. But yeah, I was curious. I'm sure you're referring, is it to Owen and Julian with your work with them?
and a couple others as
Mm,
well. Um,
mm,
well, what's interesting is that, and what I found. Well, I'll tell you the story. I'll just finish how this
mm.
goes, and I'll go and address that
Yeah.
specifically. So what happened was, as people were seeking me out for bit by bit, and all of a sudden, energy awareness training came to being. It just came to being. It was almost like there was a force that was operating through me that said, "This thing's going to happen, and you're the guy it's going to happen through." And I began teaching what I had learned. And as I would share my teachings with other personal development coaches, they were blown away. And they said, "Whoa." One of them overheard me teaching someone else and says, and stopped me at a cafe and goes, "Excuse me, can I sit in with you? What you're saying is absolutely fascinating," and became my student. And out of that came an explosion of a worldwide company, which I have now. And the person that I always wanted to be, over 20 years of searching, finally came to be. Started
Mm.
making the money always knew I could make. I started having the freedom I always knew I could have. I started dating the women I always knew I could have. But more important than that, more important than all of the stuff that I recognized, is that the one factor that's been left out of everything in personal development and in dating is the understanding and knowledge of being energetically aware. And that's what I want to share with your viewers tonight. I want to give you a peek into the hidden domain of what operates this physical world. And when you get a peek of that and you start to apply the tools, wow, get set. You're strapping yourself to a jet plane or a rocket ship, because it's nothing like you've ever experienced before. And that's what I wanted to go into. So this is a little bit of a journey, Daniel, of where I came from and where we are today.
Okay, awesome. So you unpack quite a lot there, Glenn, from your whole journey. If I understand correctly, it sounds like on the outside, maybe you were living a life that people aspired to or looked up to. But what I'm hearing from you is that on the inside, like you didn't really feel that you were living up to your full potential, as you said it, there was still this anxiety, still this feeling of there was something missing in a regard. And it was also really interesting how you were saying how you built this business almost semi-retired. And then in one way, the recession in 2008 and 9 kind of wipes you out. But without that event happening at the same time, this new teaching, this new modality wasn't able to be born. And when you almost talk about it, I don't know if you see it this way as well. And I'd love to hear more about your revelation, but it almost sounds like there's this higher energy that wants to be born into the world. It's not a Glenn idea, but you're somehow just a vessel to bring this higher energy into the world. Do you see it like that? And if you can just keep unpacking this revelation more and more,
Sure.
and then we'll see how it impacts the dating stuff. But that really stood out to me.
I didn't see it at the time uh, because I was going through a lot of hardship and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ego busting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important. See, for us as men, let's talk straight
Yeah.
to the guys here. We have to figure out so much. We're in high school and our bodies are changing, our voice is changing. We got a perpetual heart on 24 hours a day, but we're not supposed to do anything about it, and you have to learn that you have to have a big learning that you can't treat girls the way you treat boys. And if you do,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get smacked as all of us have before
Yeah.
we learn. So there's a steep learning curve becoming a young man that no one ever teaches us about. And I address this in energy awareness training. But so when you come out of that, so much of that is wondering, who am I? What am I about? What are my limitations? Do I have a place in this world? Do girls like me? Am I straight or am I gay? Or can I get the girls that I want? You start trying to figure it out here, and we make so many mistakes, and we stumble and fall. It's tough, man, and we've all been through it to try to figure out this game of life. I got to make money, and I got to get a job, but I don't know what I'm going to do, and I want to be here, but I'm over here, and I want this girl, but she, that's right, she says no. Like, just so much.
It's so
So,
confusing, can be disorientating
isn't it?
as time as a young man. And I feel I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. There's so many ways we could go, but just the masculinity at the moment, it seems like a lot of men are just totally lost. And maybe back in the day, our fathers played a role in our lives and hopefully guiding us. But it seems like young men don't have that today, and they're more confused than ever.
Right. Most of us didn't have fathers that were great role models, and that's unfortunate. But with divorce and so many men being emasculated by women, which is very common. Why? Because we men were never taught the energies, the systems, the emotions, and the differences between men and women. And believe me, Daniel, as you know, they're vast. It's
Yeah.
like what a woman is like trying to deal with a woman is like walking into a foreign country. It's different rules, different vibes, different language, and part of the shock of being a young man is having this whole reality that's a reality between men, and then trying to transfer it with women and finding it. Oh, forget it, man. You better learn a whole new language. You're in Safari and she's in Google. You
Yeah.
got completely different operating systems. So this is
Yeah.
part of where I'm going with energy. So let me backtrack uh, and create the context, and then we can go into this specifically.
Sure.
So do you notice when you see an attractive woman you're attracted to, and your brain says, oh, attractive woman. Boy, I'd like to date her. Yeah, let's go do something about it. In the very split second you make the decision to do something about it, there comes up another force that says, she wouldn't be interested in you. You're not good enough for her. She's going to shoot you down, man, and send you away like a beaten dog. Are you sure you want to go over there? So you're like, oh, there's a good looking girl. Here it comes. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. You're not. Okay. I got to pull it together. Yes, I am. Okay. I got to think positive. Okay. You take a breath. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go over there. I'm going to talk to her anyway. See, if you can get the
and
courage,
she's gone by then.
If you can get the courage to go over there, she's either gone or you're like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, and she's like, who's this weirdo? Get him away from me. Mm-hmm. So that's an example of energies, of the energies inside you. There's one energy that wants you to win, that wants you to move forward. And there's another energy inside you that wants to stop you, that wants to sabotage you, that wants to pull you down. We were never taught about this force. Most people call it positive thinking and negative thinking, but it's much deeper than that. So what I realized, let me give you the capsulization about energy awareness. What does that mean, energy awareness? That's the name of my company. Why did I call it energy awareness? Because Nikola Tesla, not the car maker, the genius scientist, said, if you really want to understand the mysteries of life, not the things we already know, but the things that we don't know, the things that we don't understand, the things that we ask, why did this happen? If you really want to understand that, then you'll start to look at that area that you don't understand as frequency, energy, and vibration. That's his famous quote. Look at the mysteries in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. Okay, well, that sounds good. We all heard that in science class in high school. But what is that energy? What is that vibration? What is that frequency?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are these energies and frequencies and vibrations? That's the big question that nobody's ever identified them. And what I've done in my work is I have been able to categorize what these energies are. That these energies that we're dealing with, first of all, are under energetic laws. So here we go. We're born into this earth, and there are energetic laws we got to deal with that no one told us about. Can you imagine, visiting a country and not knowing the language and not knowing the speed limit and not knowing what's permissible or not permissible? You're going to have a rough time. Well, guess what? We have a rough time in this planet because we don't know the basics. And let me give you some of the basics. The first basic is that everything we're dealing with is an energy or a frequency or a vibration. Everything. People, places, things, activities, jobs, environments, animals, you name it, it's an energy frequency. Now, why is that important? Because energy has a power, a purpose, a direction, and it has a measurable frequency, and it gives off information. So when you're energetically aware and you know how energy works and you're able to read the energies, you've got a superpower is what you got. Most of us don't know that. We don't know that everything's, and we don't look at things as energy, and unfortunately, to our peril and the mistakes that we made, we fall into so many traps, which we'll go on here in a second. The second one is recognizing that that this planet is a planet of it's called a binary planet. Binary meaning two, which essentially means that we're always dealing with two forces at the same time. So even if we're dealing with one, let's say happiness, there's also potential for sadness. Let's say we're dealing with beautiful weather. There's also the potential for a storm, right? So, so we don't we didn't realize that. Why that's so important is that energy moves in a cycle. Just like the day, we have the morning, the energy of the morning. You wake up and it's fresh and it's clear and the sun's coming up and the birds are singing. It's just, you're just so filled with anticipation and thinking it's going to be a great day. And then it progresses into noontime. Well, that's a different energy, lunchtime. Okay. It's the day's not fresh anymore. You're well into your day. You're halfway through it. There's people doing all sorts of things you can see, like in cities or in towns. Big difference from 6 a.m. to noon. And then you go into the afternoon, into the late afternoon, you can feel the energy starting to shift too. It's shifting into, okay, people are getting ready to transit. They're getting ready to leave. The day is slowly ending. The sun's starting to go down. It's a different vibe. Then you move into the evening, okay? The early evening. Oh, that's the beginning of a new period, the beginning of the evening. Then you got midnight, and then you've got the early mornings before dawn. So the point I'm making here is that you must recognize as a citizen of this planet that that everything's energy, that everything works in a binary system, and that the energy is always moving. It's always moving. So it's never the same. So whatever you're dealing with right now, if you're in early morning, great. Soon it's going to be noon. And when it's noon, that's great. But soon it's going to be 5 o'clock. And when it's 5 o'clock, that's great. But soon it's going to be nighttime. What that means is that things are constantly shifting for us. And if we don't know how to shift, we've never learned how to shift, it's going to be 5 o'clock and we still think it's early morning. So this polarity is everywhere. Good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, male, female, etc., with everything. Now, why that's so important is to recognize how things work. And these things are not obvious. They are if you're aware, but we were never taught about them. So energetic law number one, everything's energy. Energetic law number two, living in a world of a binary world, one of duality. Okay. So if everything in this world has a dual or a binary nature, and if everything's energy, then energy itself must have a dual nature. Law of duality. So it does. And what I've identified energetically, since it's all energy, is there are frequencies, as I mentioned before, that want to help you, that want you to have a good life, that inspire you to greatness, that make you feel good. And there's energies that want to prevent that. So the energies of light, which are healthy for you, I call high vibration energies. But under the law of duality, if there's a high vibration, there's got to be a what, Daniel?
Low vibration.
Got to be a low vibration. If there's a light vibration, there's got to be a what?
Dark
energy. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So this energy of darkness, or what I call low vibration energy, operates in this planet that we're living in. And no one ever told us about it. No one ever told us that there's a frequency that operates in this planet, in this domain, its job it is to block us from high vibrational energy, block us from our happiness, block us from what we want. And that's its purpose. Its purpose is to take us the other way, into misery, into suffering, and anxiety, stress, worry, doubt, fear, to take us down. And it operates in a very unique way, right? So what's interesting is these forces operate in a hidden domain. They're not obvious. And because they're not obvious, we come into another rule, energetic rule, which is the world of illusion, which simply means some things are the way they seem to be. Some things aren't the way they seem to be. I think we all can agree with that. They're relationships, jobs, places, things we've done that looked a certain way, but once we got involved with them, they were different. Some of them were what they claim to be, some of them aren't. So this is the uncertainty principle here that takes place. It may be the real thing. It may not be the real thing.
Not to cut you off there, but I think you're probably going to touch on this point. But just like you'd say in dating, I know you've given this example before where you could see a really beautiful woman and like, oh, on the surface, this looks like a really good thing. Or vice versa, a woman can go to men and be like, he seems like a great guy, yet only down the line, things aren't as they seem to be, as you were just explaining.
Yeah, that's my example I'm going to give. Very good.
Yeah.
So being that we live in a world of illusion, we've all been caught thinking things were one way and they're the other way. Now, let's back it up a little bit. All of us were taught in school a logical linear method, right? We were taught 2 + 2 = 4, A + B = C. We were taught to be logical and sequential in our thinking, which means we go to school, we graduate, we get a job, we make money, we meet our wife or husband, we get married and have kids, and that's the formula for happiness. Well, guess what? Anybody who's ever done that, they're going, am I happy now? No. I just graduated. Am I happy? No. You gotta go get a job. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go get a job. Okay, I got a job now. Am I happy yet? No. You got to get married. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm married now. Am I happy now? No, you got to have kids. Oh, okay. Well, I have kids now. Am I happy now? No, you got to wait till the kids grow up and leave the nest. Okay. Then am I happy now? No. You got to retire. Okay, I'm retired now. Am I happy now? Yeah, but you only got a few more years to live, so forget it. Right? You go, hey,
never ending.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So what my work is about is that area of what's going on. And now we come back to your example. I did the right thing. I used my mind. Let's take a dating and relationship. You saw someone you were attracted to. They seemed nice. They were nice. They were attentive. Everything was great for a week or a month or a year. And then the thing changed. It blew up and it became something different than what it was. And then at the end, when you have a bad breakup, God forbid, or you get your heart broken, etc., you think, if only I had known then what I know now, I never would have gotten involved and I wouldn't have had to suffer so much. Oh, well, and I love this one. I knew it. I knew I should have got involved in them. I knew I should have. Oh, you knew it. Well, then if you knew it, well, why did you do it then? No. And I say, I know, because you weren't energetically aware, because you never learn to see the energies around people, places, and things. And this is something that can be taught. This is something that can be taught, and it's a superpower. It's not just, it's a superpower, because everything that's caused us suffering, we made a decision about. The girl that didn't work out, the place that you moved to, the job that you took, the drugs that you took, you made some bad decisions. Now, if you knew then what you found out later, you never would have done it, would you? Not in a million years. Why did you do it? I don't know. That's why I call my work energy awareness training, because everything you're encountering, love, relationships, money, jobs, health, career, chasing your art, whatever it is, you're interacting with energy. And if you're not energetically aware, you're walking into you're walking on the freeway, blind, and guess what's going to happen? Nothing pretty is what's up ahead. So I made so many of those mistakes, but when I got this download, I was able to see, whoa. It was like looking at the world. Oh, I get it. Oh, that's why that happened to me. Oh, okay. That's what happened to that guy. You're able to see it because why? Listen carefully. The non-physical creates the physical. I repeat. What did I say, Daniel?
The non-physical creates the physical.
That's right. When are we ever taught that?
Yeah. You're not learning that in first grade.
Or 20th grade. You're not learning that. And I estimate that our experience is about 90%, if not more. Life is 90% energy or non-physical, and maybe 10% physical. So if you're trying to live your life and you only see 10% of what's going on, then you're going to be in for a rough ride. And unfortunately, in the human condition, most of us are in for a rough ride. Because if you only see 10% of the stuff around you, you're going to bump your head. You're going to make mistakes. So when I'm teaching personal development, I'm not just teaching a self-improvement class, which most people are interested in, I'm teaching a framework for your life. I'm teaching you how this planet operates, how you operate, what the forces are that are influencing you that you don't even know about. So when you do stuff, let's face it, so many of us, we do the things we know we're not supposed to do or that are bad for us. We know it and we do it anyway. And we don't do the stuff we know will get us someplace or will help us. January 1st comes around. Everybody makes New Year's resolutions. There's a part of your energy, what I call your energy operating system, that wants the best for you. So when January 1st, the first of the year comes around, and you go, you know what? I want a better life. I want to make more money. I want to speak another language. I want to lose 30 pounds of fat that I gained from eating like a pig during a holiday. Okay, great. Bravo. Then you make your plan and you carry it out. You buy the membership to the gym. And for the first couple of weeks, you go. Gyms are the most crowded the first month of the year. And then what happens? It gets harder and harder. All of a sudden, something's changed inside you. You're not that motivated to do it anymore. There's some force that, when the January 1st came, man, you're running to the gym. and I'm eating exactly what you need to eat. No carbs, get rid of that sugar. And now it's January 20th, and I don't want to go to the gym. So I'm like, I like those donuts. So you have an internal tug of war inside you. And that internal tug of war you think is you. Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm lazy. I guess I have no willpower. No, it's not you. It's the energies inside you dominating you, especially that low vibration energy.
And
And
why
that low
would that low
vibration,
vibrate? Oh, carry on, carry on.
the low vibration energy, just to let you know, is
Yeah.
responsible for pulling you out of feeling good about yourself. So in any way, shape, or form that energy can make you not feel good about yourself, it's going to go in and do that. Now, how does it do that? Well, this force has the capacity to hijack or infiltrate your thought process and make you think that its thoughts are your thoughts. What? Do you mean there's some kind of entity or force or thing that gets into my head and is trying to make me think foreign thoughts that are not my own? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. I'll give you an example. I'm from San Francisco. And I don't know, Danny, if you've ever crossed the Golden Gate Bridge. You ever been to San Francisco, across the Golden Gate Bridge?
No, I haven't been there.
Beautiful bridge connecting two parts. And the view from the bridge is beautiful, beautiful. Unfortunately, there's a lot of accidents on this bridge. So they nickname it Blood Alley Bridge because a lot of cars, the only thing that separates the ongoing cars are these little cones, orange cones. So I'm driving across the bridge one day, and I think I'm on a date or something, and I'm driving in across the bridge into San Francisco, and I'm listening to my thoughts, driving along, and I hear the thought of, oh, what a lovely view this is. Look at the water. Isn't that beautiful? I go, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And, oh, look at traffic. Traffic is light. Oh, you're going to make it into the city in good time. Yeah, that's good. And the car's running. Boy, you just got it tuned up last week. It's running like a top. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Say, why don't you drive into the ongoing traffic and see what happens? Why don't you cross the lane and get into a head-on collision with the other traffic and see what happens? What? Whose thought is that? Is
Where did
anybody in the
that come
backseat?
from?
What thought would tell me to virtually commit suicide? That's not my thought. That's not what I would choose to think. Whoa. And I said, something, somewhere, planted that thought in my head, because it's not mine, to get me to harm myself. And then I started asking the question, hey, maybe these other thoughts aren't mine either. Maybe the thoughts of, I'm not good enough. You're never going to be successful. There's something wrong with you. Your parents screwed you up. All of those thoughts that attack you, maybe those aren't my thoughts either. And then I began to understand how the energies work. And these energies, and here's the truth, we have energies, the high vibration energies, the healthy energies. They want to help us. The low vibration energies want to attack us, want to pull us down. So this isn't only happening internally, Daniel. This is also a reflection of what happens in the world. Here we are, citizens of planet Earth, minding our own business, trying to have a good life. And what comes on the horizon? a disease that attacks people, a disease that kills people, that killed 1 million people, that upended the whole world and caused chaos, anxiety, fear, and destruction. Oh, Daniel, what kind of energy is that? Is that high vibration or low vibration?
Sounds pretty low vibration
It's
to
as
me.
low as you can get. That's right.
Mm.
So the way this world works is there are energies that want to help us internally, energies that want to hurt us internally. Same thing out in the world. Same thing out in the world. Here, everything's great. What happens? Russia attacks Ukraine, destabilizes the world, causes that and COVID, what costs mass inflation. All of a sudden, now our money's under attack. Whoa. Why? We see this happening time and time again. That's the way the world works. Now, if you're energetically aware, you're prepared for it. You understand that we're going to go through cycles. But if you're prepared for it and you can read the warnings, you'll be okay. And you'll be able to circumvent the tragedies that most people don't. So to give a dating example, you meet a girl. She's a knockout. She's beautiful. She's everything you'd ever dreamed of. You just want her so bad. She's just smoking hot.
Mhm.
Figure, face, seemed like a nice girl. Well, she's got an energy to her. And you better be able to read that energy, because that's going to tell you what you're in for. And ultimately, it's only the energy that can save you from the low vibration energy. It's only the energies that can save you. You have a beautiful woman and she's willing to do whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, unless you become energetically aware. I'll give you an example. Since we're talking, let's talk our favorite, Sex and Beautiful Women. There was
Go
a
for it.
politician that ran for president a number of years ago, and his name was John Edwards. And John Edwards, handsome guy, had a nice wife, kids, was living the whole American dream. Was a vice presidential candidate, talking about running for president, was one of the biggest guys in our party here. Wife came down with cancer, and she was under cancer treatment. So he was still running for something, vice president or president or something. And he found himself alone in New York City. And because he was prominent, he was approached by a woman that said, hey, I think you're hot. I'd like to spend the night with you. Now, he's saying to himself what the average man says to himself. Anybody around? It's pretty hot. And then the voice inside him said, what's the problem? Your wife's away. You're horny. You haven't gotten laid in a while. Go ahead. It's only going to be for one night. You deserve it.
No big deal.
No big deal. So he says, okay, get together. And it's so good, he wants to do it the next night. And it's so good, he wants to do it the next night. And when his week is up in New York, he doesn't want to let it go. He says, I want to keep this going on. She says, well, that's going to be tough. But you're going, no, I'm going to hire you for my campaign. I'm going to keep you in my circle of influence. You'll meet my wife. Just says, okay. Keeps it going. Keeps the affair going. And gets away with it for 6 months. Then 6 months later, she's pregnant. Okay, that compliment. complicates things a little bit, but we'll manage it. So she has the baby. Now he's got a love child. Now he's got to keep it a secret. Got to keep it a secret. Well, when you're in low vibration energy, sooner or later, low vibration energy has to create more low vibration energy. That's one of the energetic laws. So when you spot low vibration energy, you run for the hills. I don't care how good looking she is or what. When you spot high vibration energy, you run, because what's coming is going to be massive suffering. So here's the case in point. So he's got this mistress, and he's got this love child. Meanwhile, he's masquerading as a family man. He's a politician and stuff. And then he makes arrangements to go meet the mistress and the baby at a hotel right down the street here in Beverly Hills. And somehow, some way, a reporter finds out about it and is there. And in the room, they leave the window open. So he's taking pictures, and he's got pictures of Edwards, his mistress, and his love child. And the next week, who's on the cover of the National Enquirer? The biggest gossip rag he is. And it turns into a world of crap. And it gets worse, and it gets worse, and he lies about it. And the bottom line of the story was, lost his marriage, his wife, cancer relapsed, lost the respect of his kids, got kicked out of the Democratic Party, or was persona non grata, lost everything. And when his wife knew she was dying, she said, "Don't let him say anything at the funeral. Just humiliate him." Now that he went through all that suffering. Now, if I said to him, "Hey, John, was it worth it? Was that piece of tail at the hotel room getting involved with that girl, was it worth it?" What would he say? "Not in a million years. Why did I do it? I shouldn't have done it. If only I knew then what I knew now. I screwed up my life." But if he had been energetically aware, if I had taught him how to read invisible energies, he would have seen, oh, here's a situation. Let's read the energy. Sex. Anytime you're dealing with sex, you got to be super careful. Guys, remember this. Anytime you're dealing with a potential sex situation, you got to be careful, because it's the number one way that the dark forces disrupt you, screw you, blow you up. And all of us know that. So if there had been a clear warning that said, "Hey, John, she's offering you sex, but it's called adultery, and you're married, and that's inappropriate, and breaking your marriage vows is low vibration energy, and low vibration energy is going to bring more low vibration energy. So you'll avoid a lot of suffering if you just tell this girl you're not interested." If only he had that, he wouldn't have done it. But he didn't have it. He wasn't energetically aware. So he fell into the trap. He fell into the low vibration energy trap of a woman she wanted something from him. But because what they were doing was low vibration energy brings on suffering. So what he did was he traded an ounce of pleasure for 10 pounds of pain. Whereas when you're energetically aware, you learn how to push away potentially dangerous or destructive situations. You push off short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment. And that's what high vibration energy is. long-term fulfillment. You don't just want to be happy today or for the weekend and then have it blow up in your face, God forbid. You want to be happy long term. Well, there are specific laws on dealing with sex and I should say specific energetic laws of dealing with sex and pleasure in women that most men don't realize. Most men
Yeah.
are at they're victimized by the little head. They let the little head tell the big head what to do.
Hmm.
And you ask them, why'd you do it? There's a great song that came out years ago, and they said, why did I do it? Because she was willing. That's why I did it. She's willing. In other
Yeah.
words, you had no self-control. You had no insight about your life. You fell into a trap. And so much of dealing with women's energies from a male point of view is falling into the traps of falling in love with the woman and letting her treat you bad, or accepting disrespect, or having your heart broken and saying you'll never love again because she was the only woman in your life. I've been through it, all of that stuff. No,
Mhm.
all of those things are low vibration energies. So if I can teach a young man or any man from 18 to 80 how these energies work, you can avoid the traps of the sexual game, which by and large is a trap in itself.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic that we could definitely unpack, because obviously I'm in the dating space myself, and in my journey it kind of came from like this nice guy, needy, seeking approval, which is obviously a massive turnoff towards women. But that's not how we interpreted it. Like you were saying, it's not like, oh, my energetics, I'm giving off this needy, clingy vibe that women don't really like. I think, oh, I'm ugly. I think I'm not rich enough, and or I don't know what the right thing to say is. But it goes much, much deeper than that. But then you get into another funny trap, because you start to improve in those areas, and like you start to become attractive to women. But that can be its own trap in and of itself. I've fallen into it, and I've seen a lot of students of mine or other people where it's like you just stuck on like this pleasure island where it's just like, oh, more sex, and I can get sex and sex and sex. And in the moment, it's like, yay, I'm winning. But then like there's long-term consequences for it. You set up like bad habits and negative cycles, and then those are really hard to break out of. And normally you're only caring about yourself, you don't really care about anyone else, and you harm a lot of people in that process. So it's weird how it goes full circle in a way, and how the traps of it, it's so alluring, it's so like a Pied Piper just playing on the flute, and you think you're going down this trail, but there's a lot of traps along the way. I'm sure you could speak about that, but Glenn, one thing I wanted to ask you, for a lot of men out there today, they're dealing more with they're in this neediness space. I've worked with a lot of men, and I found it really interesting where some of these guys, like decent, good looking guys, they got great jobs, they're making six figures, but they really battle to attract women, and we can teach them good conversational skills and they improve on that. But there's almost this deep seated like clinging, like looking to the woman to validate me. And we were chatting previously, when it comes down to a man's character, his self-respect, his self-worth, they're grasping out to women to fulfill this hole in them. And that in and of itself makes them unattractive. So maybe talk to a little bit, because obviously we spoke about in the beginning how you worked for or consulted for a company who was top of the dating space, and you would have interacted with a lot of these men. Why do you think a lot of these men are unattractive to women on an energetic level?
Great question,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes, the next factor of energy awareness training. The next factor is who we really are. Who we really are. Where do we come from? Where are we going? How is this whole deal set up? That's important to know. Now, without going into religion, I can tell you scientifically that you and I are energetic beings.
Mm-hmm.
That means we are an energy field, all of us. And we're 90%, probably 99% energy and 1% physical. And we started, as everything does, as a non-physical or energetic being. And we came into the third dimensional reality, which is planet Earth, and we became physical beings. So to illustrate that point of physical coming from non-physical, if you think about the computer that you're looking at me right now on, where did that come from? Well, somebody built it in a factory and then it was shipped. Oh, before that, it was a bunch of parts, and before that, it was on the drawing board, and before that, somebody decided that they wanted to make a computer. Exactly. It came from a non-physical reality. It came from an energetic reality, which is thought.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you and I came from. 9 months before we entered into this world, our parents had a thought. And they both agreed on that thought that that a certain activity would be a good idea to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that thought became a physical connection. And that physical connection brought through energy 9 months later became a physical being. So the computer, same way. Somebody said, let's build a computer. What computer? Computers don't exist yet. Okay, well, what do we got to do to build one? Well, we got to get some metal. We got to get some circuit boards, and we got to get some buttons here. And one day, through a lot of effort, you got a computer. So where we came from, the big picture is whatever religious you come through. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking science. We come from non-physical energy. And it's a scientific fact that energy was never created and never dies, that it's an infinite being. So we are infinite energy coming into a physical space, coming into this physical planet. Well, what are we doing here? That's the next question. What are we doing here? Are we here just to get rich, get as much money as we can, and have as much sex as we can, and eat as much food as we can before we die? Is that it? Well, a lot of people do that and are not fulfilled. Some of them even kill themselves because they have all of that and it's not enough. So, according to energy awareness training, all of us come with the consciousness to become a physical being. And we become a physical being, and we agree to learn certain lessons, to go through certain experiences, to transcend them, to reach a higher level of being and consciousness by the time we leave this world. In other words, we come down here to be better people and leave the planet better than we found it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
Sounds
And
pretty good.
within each and every one of us is an energetic operating system. You have one, I have one, everyone does. So to use that like a computer, let's say you have a Mac and your operating system is OS. Within that operating system, all of us have viruses in our computer. The physical body comes with the virus, and the virus is the issues that you're dealing with in this life. All of us are dealing with different issues. Nobody skates here. Nobody just goes, oh, I'm living the life for Riley. Everything's perfect. No. If you're on this planet, your operating system has glitches, has viruses. And your purpose here is to recognize what those viruses are, to heal them, to dissolve them, and transform yourself into a high vibration energy being, to transcend and overcome that, so those viruses, so those limitations are no longer limiting you. Mm-hmm. And you've heard the terms awaken, conscious, enlighten, higher being, etc. Those are the examples of what someone who has freed themselves from the viruses of your operating system. Now, the viruses in your operating system work directly in hand with the low vibration energy. So it's the low vibration energy's job to keep you in the column of low vibration energy. Anxiety, worry, stress, doubt, fear, unhappiness, so that it can pull you down. How far down does it want to take you, Daniel? All the way to life. Life's not worth it. I'm out of here. They get a gold star for that. Get guys do that, God forbid. Now, the high vibration energy is here to keep saying, hey, Daniel, remember why you're here. Remember why you're here. I'm going to have to set up some things for you to remember why you're here. Because coming down to this planet, there's a lot to learn. We got to learn how to feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, go to the bathroom, go to school, read and write. There's a lot to being a human being. Mm-hmm. But we learn those things ultimately so we can do what we came here to do, which is to transform ourselves, to change. That's the mission of every human being here. Change, get better, transform. Now, a lot of people don't want to do that. Or the LVE says, hey, you're just here to party. You're just here to feel good, man. And if you're not feeling good, well, that's why we invented drugs. Or that's why we invented money. Or that's why we invented all these things that forget that with energy baloney. Just eat, drink, and be famous and have lots of money and drugs and girls, and you'll be happy. Now, when we're young men, we believe that. We believe, oh, if only I could be a millionaire, I'd have a lot of money. Then I'd get the girl. Then I'd be happy. For me, it was bodybuilding. You know, I used to read muscle magazines of these guys, and they got girls, and I go, if only I had big muscles, then I could get the girl. Well, I developed big muscles, but I didn't get the girl because there's a lot more to getting girls than just having a big muscle. Mm-hmm. So we are scammed, bamboozled, lied to as young men to think, if only I had $1 million, then I'll be happy. If only I was a rock star or famous, and then I'd be happy. If only I could get a hot girlfriend, then I'd be happy. And energy awareness training will teach you the things, the physical things that you want will not make you happy. And it's not even what you want. You want, let's say you want a supermodel girlfriend. Every guy I want a 10. I want a smoking hot body, beautiful face girlfriend. Really? Okay. So let's say you get her and she moves in with you and she never wants to have sex. She's a slob. She sleeps till 4 p.m. She's cheating on you with another guy, and she has a drug habit and steals your money every time your wallet's missing. put up with that for about 3 months. You want to keep that supermodel as a girlfriend? Hell no. Get rid of her. Oh, so it's not the girl that you wanted. It's what she did. It's the non-tangibles. It's the energy you wanted. Oh, if you could only have a Ferrari, right, or a Lambo driving around, man, you'd be hot shit. Oh, okay, you get the Lambo, and the thing breaks down every other day. It costs you $1,000 a week for a tune-up. You park the thing and some jerk off rear ends you and then splits. Now to get this little bumper fix, it's $3,000. Thing's driving you nuts. Your insurance on the thing is just one headache after the other. Is that what you wanted the Lambo for? Hell no. I wanted it to look cool and drive around. But the reality is different. So this is the awareness part. And being here in Hollywood, I've had many a celebrity client, people that on the cover of People magazine that have everything, have billions of dollars, could get any girl they want, live in the mansions in the hills, and they're 3 days away from suicide in my office. I remember the first one, I thought, wow, this guy's got everything. He's got everything, but he has nothing. Because what good does all that stuff do if you don't have high vibration energy? And that's more important than anything, your connection to your high vibrational energy. And guys don't realize that. So now, with this little background, now let's go back to the guy who sees a good-looking girl. If you're energetically aware, you've learned how to accept yourself. You'll learn how to love yourself. And that's not an easy thing, by the way. Most of us hate ourselves. I certainly did. I didn't like this about me. I didn't like that about me. I didn't, I wasn't making enough money. I should be this. Life dealt me a bad blow, and I had a lot of anger and resentment from my past. I was carrying around inside me, a lot of stress. What kind of energy is that, Daniel?
That's LVE.
And what does LVE bring more of?
More low vibration energy.
So is it any wonder that you keep experiencing kicking the balls after kicking the balls after a kick in the balls? And that's what happened to me. I go, shit, not another setback. Well, okay, I got to take another program. Okay, maybe if I learn this, I got to. No, stop. Stop with the personal development. It's all a crock. It's all a crock. All those books you have on your shelves, all those courses that you take, it's all a crock. The only way out, the only way to move where you want to go is to become energetically aware. That's why I say energy awareness training is the most powerful self-development change technology in the world today. Number one, nothing even close. Now, you'll see a lot of similar things. Well, some things, I've heard that before. Maybe I've heard that before. But you've never understood the totality of operating in this world. So when someone comes and says, hey, I want to date more girls. Okay. So you help him with his dating. And now he's dating more girls. Now he's got a problem. Now he's dating too many girls. Now he's not getting his work done. And now I got a problem. What? I'm not successful. I'm getting laid, but I'm not successful. Okay. So I'm going to help you get successful. And then you get successful. And then God forbid you have a health challenge. And now you're focused. So instead of doing onesie twosies, let's work on the totality of the whole system. Let's learn how this thing works so you can master the 90% of life. You can master what's important. I haven't even gone into the advanced stuff, but I just what I told you tonight, the ability to understand we live in an energetic world, the ability to read invisible energies, the ability to recognize booby traps that are all around us every day, the ability to protect yourself from these elements. And lastly, let me give you one more thing. I've talked to you about the energetic operating system. Every day when we go into this world, let's just talk physically, for example. We wake up, we go into the world, we do our thing, and our bodies get dirty, we get sweaty. It happens from life. So what do? We come home and we clean ourselves. What happens if you don't clean yourself? Well, you might be able to get away with it for a day or two. And then pretty soon, you're not going to be able to get away with it because each day's sweat and dirt and smell accumulate. So you go a week or a month without cleaning yourself. Holy smokes. You never think of doing that. Well, guess what? Remember the law of duality. If you've got a physical energy body, then what else do you have? A non-physical energy body. And that energy body, just like the physical body, accumulates stress. So all the stress that you go through every day, the somebody cutting you off in traffic, something disappointing at work, somebody letting you down, somebody saying some bits of energy, low vibration energy. And when you get stressed, it adds a little bit of low vibration energy into your energy body. And over time, if you don't clean it, what does it tend to bring more of? Low vibration energy. And that's why you see people who are, you ever heard the phrase, I can't take it anymore. I'm pissed off. I have a nervous breakdown. That's it. Enough. You see that in relationships. You see that in jobs. You see that in health. And what is it? It's not what you think it is. It's like, oh, I've got bad luck, or this relationship's going nowhere. Or no, it's the physical manifestation of an invisible energy system. So if you clean your energy and get rid of the low vibration energy every day, then you'll feel good every day. You'll be in high vibration energies. And you won't be susceptible to the low vibration energy. However, if you don't clean yourself, then you're going to be radiating a frequency, a vibration, a low vibration energy. And you see it in people. You see some people walking around angry, pissed off. You see some guys, ready for a fist fight. Or you see nasty people. Why are they so nasty? What are you so angry about? I didn't do anything to you. Why do you treat me this way? Or why are you so unkind? Because inside them is low vibration energy that's trying to get out, and it's trapped. So what's low vibration energy going to do? It's going to bring more low vibration energies. And this is why, Daniel, when we talk about patterns, which I'm sure you're familiar with, you do a lot of work with that. Love to hear about that here in a second. Why do we have patterns? Why do we keep doing the same thing over and over again? Why can't we complete what we start? Why can't we have fulfilling lives? Because in this energy body is a frequency of low vibration energy that we accumulate every day. And if you don't release it And if you don't know how to dump it and clean it and clear it, it's going to look for more of the same. You know, in many cases, if you had your heart broken and you've never recovered from rejection that you had maybe when you were a kid, all the stuff that happens to us when we're kids, by the way, never goes away. The rejection we got from Mary Lou in the 3rd grade is still in there unless you've cleaned it. Your first heartbreak, your first letdown, still in there. You know, mom or dad telling you you're worthless, or you're no good, or you know you're never going to be. That's still in there. So this is what we come down here for, among other things, to get all that negativity out, to clean it and clear it. And that's why I call my work energy awareness training. It's not something you can do overnight. It's a life. It's like working out. You know, you don't take a couple of workouts and you're done. And if you're out of shape, it's going to take quite a few workouts to get you into shape. But once you're in shape, it doesn't take that much to keep it going. So this is, in essence, what I've shared with you, energy awareness training. And I've taught thousands of people all over the world this method. And I believe that if these methods get out, which I'm promoting, if people learn something simple like how to release your stress. I have a simple technique that people can learn that would make the difference between having a stressful life and having a peaceful life. I have methods, techniques, and a curriculum that shows you how to keep yourself energetically clear, energetically healthy. And I'll mention this for you health buffs out there. I'm a health buff myself. You work out, you eat right, you try to get rest. That's beautiful. But you know what? The number one killer, the number one thing that robs people of life, God forbid, stress, which is another name for low vibration energy. Stress, anxiety, worry, doubt, fear. Things that you're dealing with currently, but especially things that happened to you in the past that are still inside you, wreaking havoc. That low vibration energy that you got in the 3rd grade, unless you've cleared it, it's still having an effect on you. So this is the importance of cleaning and clearing. And this is what we do in energy awareness training.
Yeah, so many golden nuggets there. And we'll put a link below this for Glenn's energy awareness training, because obviously this is foundational stuff to help us navigate through this life, because it is totally crazy. I read a lot of Dolores Cannon books where she would talk about how we're a soul incarnated into this earth, like schoolroom earth, trying to figure stuff up and learn lessons. And that's been really helpful as just an idea to play around with in my life as well.
See that, and that's an important part. That what Dolores Cannon. Some people that's a little heavy for them, and maybe what I said to you is a little bit of like, whoa, okay, I get it. This is a progressive thing to learn, but and this illustrates the point. Dolores Cannon, wonderful, love her. Deepak Chopra, love him. Tony Robbins, love him. Whoever you can, Eckhart Tolle, love them. And all of these people have a certain point, a strength that they contribute to the world. But what I've done is I've tied it all together. I've tied it all together in an understanding of energy. One day I hope to have an energy awareness training university so people can learn, because there's energetic aspects of everything. What is health? Health is having a healthy energy. When you have healthy energy, you're healthy. When your energy is low vibration energy, you're not healthy. What is relationships but the energy between two people? The invisible
Yeah.
energy between two people romantically that creates physicality, but the invisible energy has to be there first. Or brothers or sisters or mothers and fathers. What makes the ability to get along or not get along, to be happy or not be happy? It's the energy between them. How about making money? What's the difference between somebody who's a billionaire and somebody who is just an average, makes an average income? They both have the same amount of time. They're both given the same amount of time every week. Why does one have billions, the other one doesn't? Hint, it's the energy. So I devoted myself to becoming energetically aware. And I can, when people come to me, and I have a lot of clients who are professionals, executives, sports people, celebrities, and I have some average people just working regular jobs and stuff. What do they all have in common? They all want to have happy lives. They all want to take whatever they're doing and make sure that it works out for them. So this is why in this work, this is the antidote for human suffering. It's the antidote for human frustration. And the tools that I teach will eliminate your emotional suffering. They will eliminate it. If you follow what I tell you, because how do I know? I eliminated my own, and I've eliminated thousands of people. My dream is to eliminate emotional suffering for our world, at least in the Western world, which is about 250, 300 million people. Can you imagine the next generation of children who have what we didn't have? When we were kids and we got our feelings hurt, we didn't know how to deal with it. When we got bullied and beat up, we didn't know how to deal with it. When our parents made us feel bad or spanked us, and we didn't know how to deal with it. As we grew up and we started learning about our bodies and sexuality, we didn't know how to deal with it. When we got our first date, asked the first girl out, and she said no, we didn't know how to deal with it.
It's a bit like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
No one's teaching anyone. Yeah.
And then you get to, is it any wonder by the time you're an adult, you're effed up? Is it any wonder? Because you've got hurt after hurt after hurt after hurt after hurt. And it's still inside you. And that's just not my work, by the way. That the leading studies are showing that. In fact, there's a book on the New York Times bestsellers list. It's called The Body Keeps Score by Dr. Basil de Klerk, that says what I say, that the body remembers. And that's where trauma comes from. And all of us have been traumatized, all of us. And what we're learning now about trauma, which it doesn't go away. It continues to affect us in our health, in our relationships, in our money. So energy awareness training, when I'm working with my high-powered clients, when there's something off and there's something not working, and they've tried everything, this goes with your emotional intelligence, with your own physical health, you tried everything and you can't find a solution. That's when they call me in. I find the solution, because they're looking in the 10%. I'm looking in the 90%. So the antidote, let's come full circle around to a guy who wants to improve his dating life.
Yeah.
Your dating life is just an aspect, a symptom of your life. And the reason why we have such fear around women, and we're afraid or we sabotage ourselves, is because that low vibration energy has never been tamed. It's never been addressed. So who do you think is telling you you're not worthy? She's not going to want anything to do with you. You don't have enough money. You're not in shape. That's the low vibration energy. So part of my training is recognizing, hey, wait a minute. That's not me. That's not who I decided to be. I'm going to use a technique to release that and go back into who I am, which all of us are. You're a magnificent, wonderful, blessed, talented, immensely wonderful individual, blessed beyond measure, talented, beautiful. Now, if there's anything about that, me telling you that made you go, ugh, no, I'm not. That's the low vibration energy trying to keep that away from you. And it's not easy, Daniel, because we grow up and the LVE teaches us how to put ourselves down. It teaches us how to attack ourselves. Do you ever wonder when you get a voice that says to you, hey, you're not worthy. You're too short. You're too fat. Your nose is too big. You're, something wrong with you. You're dropped on your head. You're too stupid. You're gonna... Whose voice is that? Who's he talking to? And the revelation is that's not you. So in energy awareness training, you dump that evil twin, that voice that's been masquerading. It's like a tapeworm in your head. It's an energy that like a barnacle or
Parasite.
Parasite,
Yeah.
that's the word, that wants to feed off your positive energy. The LVE is a parasite, and it's glommed on to our thinking. And it's only becoming aware that it's there and separating the energy from who you really are, that you're able to move forward, that you're able to be free. Let's get back to the matrix. I did a whole video on that. I have a video channel, by the way, on YouTube, Glenn Ackerman, 2 N's, Glenn Ackerman. I have over 100 videos. My last video I put on there last week was energy awareness training in the matrix. Everybody saw that movie and go, yeah, man, the red pill, the blue pill. Yeah. But nobody said, hey, I want to know what that blue pill is. I want to be, well, guess what? You learn energy awareness training. You're taking the blue pill. You're seeing life the way it really is.
You mean the red pill? The red pill's the one that wakes you up. The blue one puts you to sleep.
Okay. The red pill. Okay. So it's the red pill. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The red pill. Now, some people don't want to take the red pill. Okay. I don't know about you, but I suffered enough. And see, suffering, which nobody wants, but it's a necessary part of this life. And that's what the awakening is. Your suffering is a wake-up call for you to advance, for you to transcend. It's there for a reason. So in energy awareness training, you come to recognize that everything does happen for a reason, that there's a divine, like when we opened up, yes, you asked me how I got to where I am today. I couldn't see it at the time, but now I saw that there was a divine destiny. There was a divine destiny, and there were lessons that I had to learn. I'm still learning them. But here's the difference. You can learn your lessons elegantly and happily, or you can learn your lessons kicking and screaming, being dragged and suffering. Up to you. I had enough of that. It took me a long time to learn my lessons. Some young man now, if they learn and apply energy awareness training, you can circumvent 10 to 20 years of mistakes and pain and suffering if you utilize the principles. I mean, if only I had known then what I know now, man, I could have alleviated about 20 years of suffering.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah, I've
what?
known.
It happened for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It happened so
Yeah.
I could get here and be the voice of experience for younger guys to go, hey,
And to
I'm
teach.
20 years,
Yeah.
25 years ahead of you.
Mm.
Let me tell you what's coming down the pike. Some guys will listen, some guys won't. No problem. Suffering will motivate you to become more energetically aware. How much do you want? Up to you. For me, I had it. I had it with it.
You're good. You don't need any more. You don't want any
Don't need
more.
any more.
Yeah.
Don't need any more.
Yeah.
So then it
I love.
becomes,
Oh, carry on.
how good can life be? After
Mm.
you're through suffering and after you've transcended, how good can life be? When you're not attached to the physicality anymore, then you can, here's the paradox. And by the way, that's the other spiritual law, that we live in a paradox. What's a paradox? Two seemingly opposite things happening at the same time. For example, you've heard the phrase, it's in giving that you receive. Well, you have to look at that from a higher point of view, because if you just say, well, if I got $3 and I give you $1, I'm only going to have two. That doesn't mean it. No, it's higher than that. It's your energy. When you give, the energy comes back to you. Same thing with attraction. The more you want it, the more she runs away. The more you can take it or leave it, the more attractive it is. So these are the energetic laws that come into play every single day. And the end game for energy awareness training is complete emotional and energetic freedom. Knowing that you've escaped the matrix, and no matter what happens out there, good, bad, or ugly, in here, it's always sunshine. In here, it's always good all the time. And you can have that. And that's what I wanted. And that's what I got. And that's what I'm showing other people how to do every day.
Amazing. Amazing. I love the work that you do, Glenn, and I think you're doing something amazing for humanity and fulfilling your purpose of why you came down to this earth and really living it out, and not only doing that but inspiring others to do so that themselves, as I'm sure when they clean out their own energy and become more energetic aware, they also know and realize why they're here and how they can more fully step into their divine destiny instead of being a puppet on the string, being pulled around by forces unknowingly and unconsciously in a world which is not really a great life to live, as I'm sure we've all lived that to some extent.
It's true. It's exactly right. And, I wish that, I like many guys think, if only I could get a girlfriend. I know for me, I had challenges, with, getting love at home. And I was desperately looking for love, desperately looking for someone, to take my pain away and someone to just validate me and give me some approval. I never got it. I never got it when I needed it. I would get bits and pieces, and girls who were kind of what I call low hanging fruit, temporary, but I never got the love I wanted until I learned to give it to myself, until I learned who I really was and made the transformation. And what a coincidence, Daniel, as I learned to love myself, now all of a sudden everyone loves me. As I learned to stop chasing money and let money be a natural extension of what I do and who I am, all the money comes in. And that's the formula for life. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be smooth. And if it's freaking dang hard for you right now, you got some work to do. You got some energy to cleanse. And that's what energy awareness training is here for, to support people in being their highest, most wonderful, most highest potential self. And
Yeah.
I am so thrilled that you allowed me to share with you, because you do great work, and you're a great teacher in your own right, and you help a lot of guys in your specific niche. Hopefully, what I've shared with you tonight may broaden your scope to the big picture, to know that every desire that we have in the physical world leads to another desire, and another one, and another one. And when you're in a high vibration energy and you learn to be in this peaceful, loving energy, you don't have any desires, because you're already there. All of the love I was looking for, all of the approval, all of the good times that were somewhere out there, one day I realized they're all in me. And they always were all in me. And there's nothing out there that feels better or that's more healthy for me than the energies inside me that haven't been developed yet. The high vibration energy just waiting to come out, waiting to support you, to empower you, to protect you, to guide you to your heart's desire. And this energy, ultimately, you can call it whatever you want, the creator, source, the universe. This energy wants the best for you. And it wants you to have the desires for your heart, but it wants you to have it in the right way. It wants you to have long-term fulfillment. It doesn't want you to have it for a day or two and then it goes away. That's low vibration energy. The high vibration energy wants you to be fulfilled. And there's specific laws and training that you need to have to be able to keep that going long term. And that's what we teach in the training. I've given a lot
Sure.
tonight, but there's a lot more. So if you're interested and you want to,
Where's the best place for people to get in touch with you, Glenn?
what you're doing here, you can go to glennackerman.com. And I think my staff is still doing appointments where you can talk to my staff. Sometimes I even do them and just ask what's available. You can write me on Messenger. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. I get a lot of people writing me, so it's hard to get a hold of me. But give it a shot and tell me that you're a friend, that you're connecting to Daniel White, and I'd be happy to answer any questions and show you a little bit more about how energy awareness training works. And we're getting ready for a big launch here in about another month to really bring energy awareness training to the world in 2024. So this would be a good time to find out about it before the rush comes. And
Yeah.
I'd love to help you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much for coming on this evening, Glenn. You've given so many wisdom bombs already, so much to unpack here. But like you said, there's still a lot more to learn.
Sure.
And yeah, well, you guys check out the links down below. I'm always following Glenn's posts on Facebook. He's always dropping some knowledge and wisdom. He shows some amazing stories. He lets you know when the high vibe days are coming around. So at the very least, go follow him on social media, but definitely go check out his training. And we're very much looking forward to the launch in 2024, and we'll keep our eyes peeled for that for sure.
Thank you. And Daniel, thank you for the good work that you do.
Mm.
I'm thrilled to be here with you and to endorse your work. You go very deep and you care about your clients, and that shows. So I'm proud to be affiliated with you, and love what you do and endorse you all the way.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Really appreciate that coming from someone as experienced, well established, and knowledgeable as yourself. So Thanks for everyone for tuning into the Magnetic Man podcast. You can find all the detailed links below the episode. Glenn, we wish you all the best. We'll be following your work very closely. And who knows, maybe we'll have you on again in the future once the launch is up to get more of that information out. I think that'll be
I
fun.
look forward to it. And I'm going to bring you on one of my podcasts too to do the same. So every good turn creates more good turns.
I like that. High vibration creates more high vibration, as you'd say.
There you go. That's it. Whatever.
See, I'm learning something.
Love it. Okay, yeah, my last words are, remember you guys, nothing changes until energy moves. You can think about stuff till you're blue in the face, but if you want to make change, you got to move the energy. Okay, remember that, and follow us up for more information. Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.